Good evening again. We are going to get started momentarily, so if you are someone who would like to address the board, if you could please get your sheet to Cheryl here in the front so that we can get properly organized. Thank you.
Okay, now being 6:30, I can call the meeting to order. I'll start by introducing the board members. We have Linda Green, Ken Bauer, Beth Line, Stephen Morgan, Paul Kennedy, who we are expecting shortly, myself, Mark Green, Superintendent David Minogue, Renee Ashley, Sean Island, Todd Smith, Deputy Superintendent Sherry Tyrone, Assistant Superintendent Laura Hayes. So at this time, we're going to move into citizen feedback. We're going to go over just a couple of group very quickly here. So come on to an item on our agenda that says the way to address the board on the topics that obviously that people are interested right now. We can also speak about any other issues as well. Okay. So when I call your name, please be seated. Do we have a place for please stand on the mic. State your name, whether or not you're a resident of the district, and what school community you may be affiliated with. If you are representing a particular group, please share that information as well. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. We will actually have a timer going that when you get 30 seconds, there'll be a timer. If we have 22 requests to speak, and all candidates to speak here. Please be advised the board cannot engage in dialogue with members of the community during the citizen comment section, and also any comments that identify students could be subject to the Wisconsin Pupil Records Law and PERPA as such student information that is not directly data as designed by the board. For example, individual student behavior requirements that shall not be discussed in this forum. Can everybody hear me now? Okay, well, I'll make it a quick advanced version. You got 3 minutes to speak. I'd like you to come up to the microphone here. State your name, state what school you're in, and if you're part of the group. At 30 seconds before the 3-minute time starts, there will be an announcement saying we have 30 seconds left. We'll do our best not to cut everybody off, and we have 22, so with the math, you can understand we want as much to 3 minutes as possible. So, has everybody turned in their sheets? The first individual we're going to call up will need to be translated. So in that particular case, we're going to allow 6 minutes for the time of translation to occur. Andrea Morales.
Mi nombre es Efraín Camilo. Estoy aquí por lo de la Carlos de la escuela. Tengo estudiantes, tengo niños en Sunset Ridge, Messenger y
my name is Efraín Gamillo, and I'm here to talk about the ground projects. I have kids in Sunset Ridge and Glacier.
digo yo, no estoy de acuerdo con lo que están haciendo de mi parte, porque supuestamente hablaron con nosotros que iban a cambiar los niños y es algo que es totalmente falso.
I disagree with the changes that are happening to us. Supposedly somebody talked to us about these changes, but that's false. That didn't happen.
A mí nadie me avisó que iban a cambiar los niños. Me tomó por sorpresa y pues estoy un poco preocupado por eso.
And nobody told me that the kids were going to change schools. I was surprised by this. I was shocked to see this.
En realidad, no sé qué vaya a pasar, pero creo que para esto, a mis hijos creo que les va a afectar bastante este cambio. No sé si hay otra opción.
I don't know what is going to happen. I know that my kids are going to be affected by the changes. I don't know what's going to be next.
Bueno, creo que de mi parte, digamos, no estoy de acuerdo con este cambio. Si mis hijos pudieran quedar en su escuela, digamos, como están, sería muy bien. Tienen todo el tiempo estudiando en Susa Beach, sus maestros, los conocen bien ya todo.
I disagree with these changes. I hope that my kids can stay in Santa Ridge and Glacier Creek. They have a long time going to those schools. They know their teachers there. They know the people that to those schools.
Bueno, creo que es todo de mi parte y ojalá que no los cambien de mi parte.
That's everything that I have to say, and hopefully they don't need to be moved to another school.
Gracias por tu tiempo.
Thank you for your time.
You may want to adjust the mic.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah. So my name is Virginia Moran, and I live in Don Small Manor, just the same as him. And I would like to express that I'm not happy about the things that will affect the children in my neighborhood. We just get notified that our students are going to get switched from schools, and nobody let us know about it. And I heard that you guys had a meeting in my neighborhood asking about what we were thinking or suggesting about the situation. But I already talked to most of the parents there, and nobody knows anything about this meeting. Apparently someone complained about the bus route about being too long from Kelsey Court to Glacier Creek. And I personally think that's not true, and that's not the case for our students. And I talked to different parents in the neighborhood, and they said no, that nobody heard about anything about this, and nobody says this before. So I kind of wonder, like, when this meeting was, and why I was not invited to this meeting with the rest of the parents. I'm really worried because I have two students, one from Sunset Ridge, she's only 6, she's from kindergarten, and I have an 11-year-old from Glacier Creek. And I would like to get more information about this, and I feel like kind of like really upset that nobody says anything to us in this part of our community. Like, why? Why nobody say anything to us? We have the same rights to know all these things, all this information, because I feel like all the students have the same rights to know and get the same education. Like, this will really affect our students, especially our little ones that are just getting to know, like, the schools, the teachers there, and also some of our students only speak Spanish from home, and they're just getting to know this environment, and I think this really will affect them. So that's basically all. Thank you.
Mary Smith.
Mercy, sorry, I do something with my seed. Everyone thinks it's Mary.
Oh.
But I like the name Mary too, especially this time of year. It's nice.
Marcy.
Yes, that's
My
right.
apologies,
No
Marcy
worries,
Smith.
no worries at all. So yes, Marcy Smith, did you say this school that my students attend? Did you say?
Yes.
Elmwood. Good evening, my name is Marcy Smith, and I'm both a parent and an employee of the Middleton-Cross Area School District. I would like to sincerely thank the Board of Education and the leadership for the opportunity to be able to speak briefly tonight. I, along with many others in this room, I'm sure, have been following the Boundary Committee closely. Along with attending several meetings, I have also monitored all communication on the website, as well as provided feedback through the available avenues. I'm in a unique position today where I have many community members asking me my opinion on the different initiatives that the district is taking part in. Throughout my 13 years here, we have been through a lot, so the questions change, but our response remains the same. This district is committed to providing families with the absolute best experience possible, and I believe the process that they have gone through to get to where we are tonight is no exception. There will be many pros and cons to each option, but I did want to point out a few that I think may have potentially been missed. While my neighborhood is not technically attached to any of the neighborhoods involved, we are a part of Area 68. One thing that I think may have been overlooked throughout the process is that my pocket of the district is riding a different school bus to school than the rest of Area 68 and 69. This change happened approximately 1 month into the school year. My students ride a bus with students who live in Fox Ridge and attend Elmwood. If we are reassigned schools, the district will need to add 1 additional bus to Area 68, as not all of the students out there fit on 1 bus, and we would no longer be able to ride a bus with the Fox Ridge students. I know this was not factored into the original transportation numbers, as this ride change happened after transportation provided information to the committee. Along the same line of thinking, it does not make sense for students from areas 7, 10, and 11, or students from areas 68 and 69, to pass by their closest school of attendance and cross university to attend a school that is further away. The closest school of attendance for areas 7, 10, and 11 is Sauk Trail, and the closest school for areas 68 and 69 is Elmwood. If proximity does not matter, then I would make a case for keeping area 25 students at the school that they've always attended instead of moving them to Coal Farm. However, that would not make sense, nor does busing kids past their closest school of attendance either. What I want to make clear tonight, though, is that in all cases, and especially with this one, my personal opinion does not really matter. A large group of extremely thoughtful individuals have worked tirelessly to come up with a solution that will inevitably be questioned and picked apart. However, a decision does need to be made at the end of the day, and not everyone will be happy with it. For that reason, I'm advocating that the Board of Education chooses to select the option that was voted to be the most preferred option by the Internal Boundaries Committee. That option was D3.1.3. Their tireless work serves an example of what can happen when a group of thoughtful individuals come together for a common cause, and I believe their work should be upheld. Thank you for your time and attention, and good luck as we keep moving forward with what I consider to be a fortunate problem of a successful growing district. Thank you.
Jason or Mario?
My name is Jason Correa, and I don't know. Okay, so Jason Correa, I live in neighborhood 38. I actually go to Park Elementary currently. I think under both of the options presented to the board, we would move to Sunset Ridge. So, as you might anticipate, a statement of opposition from related to that. We have some concerns we'd like to consider. Not sure if we have presented these concerns, I think, in written form. I want to take the opportunity, as we appreciate the opportunity to speak in front of you, so I'll take that opportunity to state a couple of things here. Although labeled as a neighborhood, Area 38 is largely rural, with very few small neighborhoods and few overall children in general. I think that's important. A sense of community is more difficult to establish when you don't live in a large neighborhood, and also more difficult to reestablish if you're forced to switch schools. That's an important thing to keep in mind. And Cross Plains and Park Elementary School is our community. Again, we live out in the country, don't live in a large neighborhood with a lot of people or a lot of children around, and we've really established that community with Park and Cross Plains. That's very important to us and our children in particular. Also, there are roughly 16 total elementary school children in neighborhood 38, open and numbers are correct. I know they're close, maybe off by 1 or 2, but not a lot of kids in general. And this number is not projected to increase in the next 5 years. Growth within the district is not coming over the 38. So given the low number of students and the lack of growth, the number of students in the 38 is not a meaningful change in the attendance numbers for Park or Sunset Ridge schools. It just isn't. Not now, and it's not projected to be in the near future either. However, we feel it will have a considerable impact on the families of neighborhood 38 who can consider Cross Plains and Park School to be our community. Additional growth of Park School has been slower than projections, with enrollment actually dropping within the past 2 school years and projected to decrease again next year. So with these things in mind, I guess we strongly question why move in neighborhood 38. We feel very strongly that there is no good reason to move us and that we would greatly prefer to stay at March. So thanks for your time. Thank you.
Nick, really?
I'm Nick Breland. I'm neighborhood 68. My daughter was kindergarten at home. So I don't bear the lead. I want to say that D3.1.3 is a much preferred option for us in our neighborhood. I think it says a lot that everyone in our neighborhood is active in a portion of our neighborhood that will be affected as kids is here tonight at this meeting. So I think that says a lot. The big thing I want to stress is that the transportation. Our kid already gets on the bus at a little after 7 o'clock in the morning, and going to stock trails would be even further school away. Almonte's already pretty far away, but stock trails is even further. I can imagine it's going to add 5 minutes on either side of the day, which over 180 school days leads to 30 hours a year extra on the bus, which is a lot. Imagine if you have an employer saying, hey, we want you to work 30 extra hours a year. It's not. It's like an extra week of work time, right?
The D3.1.3 has a lot of other things about that really makes sense for the school district.
It really balances enrollment throughout the school district. One is not underutilized as it would be in other options. It minimizes impact on schools, and it leads to better district transportation efficiency as well. So that's all. Thank you for your work.
Amy Kavanaugh.
My name is Amy Kavanaugh, and my children attend online. Dear members of the school board, thank you for your dedication to the school redistricting process. As you may know, I have attended the majority of the boundary meetings since April, and have closely followed and understand all that has been put into arriving at these final 2 boundary options. As you discuss and vote on these options, I hope you will consider the reasons why D 3.13 is the option that best meets the boundary evaluation criteria and benefits the district as a whole. Even though I do live in live in neighborhood 68, Newberry Heights, which is affected by one of these options, I hope you will look at the objective criteria supporting D 3.13 as the best option. First, 3.13 best addresses the barriers to student and family engagement, criteria number 2. Stock Trail currently has a free and reduced lunch percentage of 41%, and 3.13 brings this to 34%. Creating a better balance throughout the entire district. Also, Stock Trail currently has 51% students of color. 3.13 brings this to 40%, again creating a more equitable balance among the elementary schools. Also, 3.13 puts 83% of students at their closest school versus 81% under 3.72. In the long run, having students close to their school is an important factor for increased family engagement and transportation efficiency. 372 doesn't make sense geographically. 372 moves around 90 students in neighborhoods 68 and 69 to a school that is farther away than their current school. Soft Trail is almost another mile farther away than Elm Lawn, requiring families to drive past Elm Lawn on their way to Soft Trail. This increased distance would make bus pickup times even earlier and drop-off times even later. 313 moves neighborhoods that are already close to Soft Trail. Neighborhoods 7, 10, and 11 are all closer to Soft Trail than they are to Middleton. D3.1 and its variations have persistently stood out during the 7-month school boundary process. D3.7.2 was only introduced at the very end of this process and has not been as carefully analyzed. If these facts alone aren't enough, between the 2 petitions submitted by neighborhoods 68 and 69, you have over 200 concerned residents from these neighborhoods who believe that they should remain at Elm Lawn, which is achieved in D3.13. I hope that you will consider all the analysis, discussion, and time that the Boundary Committee has put into proposing the new school boundaries. They have spent hours upon hours looking at countless maps, dashboards, and figures. Please look at the boundary evaluation criteria and choose D3.13, which works best in the long run and benefits the district as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Linda Larson.
I'm Linda Larson. I have 2 students at Middleton High School. I also have a daughter at St. Francis. We were originally in the West Middleton boundary until she became about 2 years behind in reading. West Middleton's enrollment had grown during that time. What was even stranger to me was that the building capacity was arbitrarily raised from 376 to 432 students without a change in building size. When I looked at things such as storm safety, with kids having tornado shelters next to exterior doors and the most unsafe place being wind tunnel, I started communicating my issues with school administration back in 2017. So this is not about where I landed now. And so seeing her progress, where she's caught back up in reading and even ahead in reading comprehension at a private school, I'm concerned that the board needs to take a step back and look at the school capacities of Soft Trail and West Middleton that were bumped by 18 and 19% while other schools weren't. We came to West Middleton for the science and technology classroom. As years went by, that was taken away. 5th grade was gone, 4K came, 4K was taken away. So many changes in the past 10 years. So it's also disappointing to see the Boundary Committee focusing on, and even numbers in red on the latest handouts on 2030. When I was in this room last month, you spoke of it being a destination district now. Nowhere did I hear the words inspired, innovative, inclusive. It was about being a destination district and the families moving in. So once again, I urge the board to take a look at those numbers. West Middleton will now have 140 square feet per student. Hope Farm has 210. The architecture firm we worked with recommended 170. This is a waste for taxpayers. This is unfortunate for the students of those schools that are still being overcrowded.
Thank you. Jesse Ravine. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Jesse Ravine. I'm in the boundary of number 38, and I say that because it is, as Jason mentioned earlier, very rural. Within that boundary, there is our neighborhood, which has 5 children that currently attend park. In both of the options, they would be going to Sunset Ridge. The other area that's represented by that boundary of 38 is across county highways, across Keegan, not a neighborhood per se. So we personally look at this as though a very small number of children are being moved from Park to Sunset Ridge. second grader and one third grader. And that's it. In both of the options, I was looking at the dashboard, and I do see that park is projected to be overcrowded, but not until 2030. And my argument there would be that by the time we get there, these kids are through school. I think we will be addressing different issues and overcrowding again for the entire district at that point. Park School is one of the schools that has capacity to expand. So unless we can, I think we're going to have other challenges going forward with the high school and middle schools again before we readdress elementary schools. And at that point, where Park is projected to be overcrowded, I believe expansion may be the only opportunity for the elementary school changes at that point. Our area is not projected to grow. I would just like to reiterate that as a real community, we really appreciate staying in the Park District, or the Park Elementary, where we have a sense of community with Cross Plains at this time going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Laura Edmonds. All right, thank you. Stacy Graham, is that correct?
Hi, my name is Stacy Graham. My children go to the elementary school, and I also have a daughter in middle school. I am part of Applewood Hill, which is a small little pocket of 68. We only have about 5 kids that are currently in the elementary school that ride the bus, and they ride about a 40-minute bus ride to and from school. So I just urge you to consider that and to not have the children go further away than what they already have to, given those times that we have to deal with. In addition to that, I kind of piggyback on what someone else said. Given that we are our own little certain pocket, there's not a lot of kids in the neighborhood. So the friends and the relationships that my kids build through school, they don't have the kid right next door like some of the small neighborhoods have. And so it really does make a bigger social impact than maybe it would if we lived in Americans. And I know that this isn't about how it feeds into middle school either, but if there is any opportunity for the middle school to change from Cromway to Glacier Creek for us, I can't even imagine the distance that would be given that we live in the southeastern part of the school district as it is. So for that reason, I'm also in favor of option D3.13, just to minimize those transportation times and to try and keep the children with their sense of community.
Thank you. Be patient with me on this one. O-G-I-R, A-L-O-G-O-Z. If you can help me with the pronunciation, I would greatly appreciate it.
So my name is August, O-G-U-C, I chose my address first. My first time in this board meeting. First, thank you for your service. I've been meaning to come here for the last 6 months, but first time. Because of internal boundary committee, I know that you are going to have very hard decisions to make. And I don't have a lot of preparation, but I just wanted to say that I'm in strong support of D372. I'm trying to follow the internal boundary committee discussions all the times, and I noticed that yes, there are some maps and there are some boundaries, but I'm not sure that there's those boundaries between the neighborhoods were really reflecting the reality. I'm from North Lake, and my daughter goes to Northside Elementary, so it would be at neighborhood 7. And it looks like when you look into the map, you think there is a line between neighborhood 7 and 8, although there is really virtually no line between. There's a single park in our neighborhood, so my kids' best friends are from neighborhood 8. And when you look into the numbers between option D3 or my daughter's best friend lives literally 2 houses across the park, and we go there every day in the summer. So I feel like by just looking into these map-based calculations, we may have made a mistake. We are literally dividing a neighborhood. And there is also this transportation issue. People think that, well, the kids are not taking helicopter rides to school in the morning, they are driving. And if you are driving centrally in the morning, it will take forever to go there. So when I pick up my kids from north side, I never take the Central Avenue, I always take the Gazi Road. There is literally a single stop sign. But people are thinking that this is 0.7 miles versus 0.8 miles, so some speakers are thinking that 0.7 miles is closer than 0.8 miles, and that means we should assign that school to another place. So my point is there is a lot of reality that is different than what is reflected in those numbers. So I'm hoping that the board considers these factors, and as a resident, I am in strong support of the 3 months of just spaces. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Paige Dela, and I live at 4568 Bishop's Court. My assigned school is currently Northside Elementary. I'd first like to thank all of you for your time this evening and for your listening session. I will be making public comments on behalf of the many residents that reside within neighborhoods 7, 10, and 11. The points that will be made tonight in support of option D372 have been summarized in an online petition that has been signed by 116 signatures in less than 24 hours across all 3 of these neighborhoods, and we would like to submit that petition as part of public record. And there are more coming in. We just checked this as about an hour ago. I have some signatures here. Before starting on criteria 1, I'd like to point out that if you look at the big picture of the 2 options being considered, you will see that by choosing D313, you would move 2 neighborhoods, 68 and 69, 1 mile further, together to a new school. These neighborhoods have already fought the idea of joining West Middleton. The total impact, therefore, to these 2 neighborhoods is a 3-minute bus ride each way. On the other hand, neighborhoods 7, 10, and 11 have a majority of kids who currently ride bikes and walk to school safely. If moved, these children would instead have to be bused down a very busy and overly crowded road, Century Avenue, with no safe way to walk or ride to school. The impacts of these children changing schools, therefore, would be much greater than merely a 3-minute bus ride. Not that I'm discounting the fact that they already have a 1 bus ride. And we would ask you to therefore choose D372 when considering the impact to the children being affected. With that said, on to criteria 1, projected enrollment and building utilization. In looking at the projections for each school, it seems that both options are fairly even in this regard. If the projection in 2020 is compared between the 2 schools, Elm Lawn drops enrollment by 63 students if neighborhoods 68 and 69 move to Sauk Trail, and Northside drops in enrollment by 57 students if neighborhoods 7, 10, and 11 move to Sauk Trail. The difference of 6 students is negligible. It would be inaccurate to say that one option results in greater utilization of schools, especially considering that neighborhood 11 is said to have 8 elementary age kids when they actually have 2. That alone makes up the difference of 6 children. The data is already outdated and numbers will change with potential home sales and purchases. Looking out to 2030, the difference in utilization is again insignificant. For this reason, we very firmly believe that projected enrollment numbers are absolutely not a valid reason to pick one option over the other. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Katie Willenberg.
My name is Katie Willenberg, and I live at 5401 Hampton Trail. I'm currently have 2 Northsiders and a 2-year-old at home that hopes to someday attend Northside herself. First of all, I would like to thank you guys all for hearing community feedback tonight. That means a lot. I followed this process closely, attending many of the meetings and watching all the videos online, trying to keep up to speed with the changes. I'm here to support the implementation of option D372 and wanted to address my concerns with regards to dashboard criteria 2, barriers to student and family engagement, which throughout this process has aimed to minimize opportunity gaps and change for marginalized students and families. Based on the principal panel on June 19th, it was determined that criteria 2 was a high priority criteria, with all of the principals in attendance agreeing that minimizing impact on marginalized families and students was of the utmost importance, while also simultaneously agreeing that balancing demographics across all schools was not as important. This dedication to minimizing impact and change for marginalized families was confirmed when the committee elected not to forward option D2, which moved neighborhood 16 East to Sauk Trail, due to concern for the impact on the marginalized families in that neighborhood, even though 16 East is within the walkable zone to Sauk Trail. While both the remaining options presented are similar in the thoughtfulness and care that was taken not to disrupt traditionally marginalized families, under these proposals, children from Meadow Ridge Apartments, Middleton Market Apartments, and Oak Ridge Senior Apartments, which is neighborhood 16 West, will be moved from their current school, Elm Lawn, to a new school, Northside, in Plan D313. Furthermore, this neighborhood 16 West will be separated from their adjacent neighborhood 16 East, which will remain at Elm Lawn. It would not be an option to modify option D313 to keep 16 West at Elm Lawn, as this would leave Northside severely underutilized by 154 students under its capacity and would push Elm Lawn over capacity within a year, therefore breaking criteria number 1. For these reasons, along with the importance placed on keeping the impact on traditionally marginalized families to an absolute minimum, it seems only right that neighborhood 16 West remain at Elm Lawn and that option D372 is the better plan. To further reduce impact on marginalized families, I would also urge the board to consider keeping neighborhood 37 East, which is Don's Mobile Manor, at Sunset Ridge in option D372 to further minimize change for this neighborhood and balance enrollment numbers by reducing Northside's capacity and increasing Sunset Ridge numbers in the long term. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. My apologies for the pronunciation.
My name is Mohan Babu, and I live in neighborhood number 7, North neighborhood. It's close to I'm here to support option D372, and I want to address my concerns as they relate to criteria 2, barriers to student and family engagement, specifically due to diversity. Diversity at Sauk Trail, diversity significantly reduced in option 313 compared to option 372. In option 213, if neighborhoods 7, 10, and 11 they move to Sauk Trail, the overall minority population in Sauk Trail would fall 11%, from 51 to 40%, compared to the change of only 2% in option 372, which moves neighborhood 68, 69 to Sauk Trail. I know someone mentioned that that's a good thing. I'm not sure that's a good thing, because it's a big change of minority students from 51 to 40%. Only one other elementary school has a similar change in diversity rates, which is Sunset Ridge. So there, the diversity rate changes 13% from 35 to 22, but that is going to happen in both options. It does not change some other option. So in terms of diversity, option 313 would significantly change the diversity rates at 2 elementary schools compared to option 372, which would only impact 1 school. And as noted in the dashboard, option 372 minimizes the change for marginalized students and achieves diversity across schools better than option 313. About half of the students in shifting neighborhoods, 68-69, are students of color. So, in my opinion, option 372 is clearly a better option to keep our schools as diverse as possible and minimizes changes for students of color while meeting other criteria as well. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. On the way up, Jennifer.
Hello, my name is Maria Pianca, and I live in the north side elementary. We have 4 children that have gone through the Middleton schools, 3 that are currently enrolled. Yes, we have 1 elementary, middle, and high school. So scheduling is, I think, of importance to us. Of the 2 options that have been put forth to the board, I'm here to express my support for D372 as it better meets the dashboard criteria. I agree with the points that have already been made in support of this proposal, this option, and I would like to comment in particular on dashboard criteria 3, neighborhood unity. Option D372 better meets this criteria for the following reasons. Neighborhood 7, North Lake, is bordered by farms to the north, the Conservancy to the west, and a new development to the east that attends Wanakee schools. The only neighborhood that North Lake is connected to is on its south, neighborhood 8, Orchid Heights, with whom North Lake shares a common community park. Although only one road appears on a map to connect these neighborhoods, in reality, the park and the Conservancy create important connectivity between these neighborhoods. Children living in North Lake and Orchid Heights frequently walk or ride their bikes to meet up with each other at their homes or at the park. In option D313, Orchid Heights would remain at Northside Elementary, isolating the North Lake neighborhood completely. Similarly, neighborhood 10, Bishop's Bay, and neighborhood 9, Shorecrest, are connected through backyards and a marked footpath. While there are no roadway connections between these 2 neighborhoods, there are also no physical barriers, and children frequently visit each other by crossing throughout backyards and well-traveled spaces and paths. In option D313, Shorecrest would remain at Northside Elementary School, isolating Bishop's Bay and Fox Bluff from their adjoining neighborhood. Additionally, I want to mention that option D372 moves neighborhood 68 and 69 together from Elm Lawn to Soft Trail. These 2 adjacent neighborhoods already attend different school than their surrounding neighborhoods, and they would move together, keeping relationships and unity between those 2 neighborhoods. With that said, if the goal is to maintain neighborhood unity, option D372 clearly meets this criteria, where option D313 completely dismantles and disrupts neighborhood unity. Really appreciate the opportunity to share our thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lisa Foley.
Hi, my name is Lisa Kralik, and I live at 5319 Indigo Way. Our family's in the North Lake neighborhood, and I have 2 kids who currently attend the Northside. I am here in support of option D372. I would like to address criteria 4 from the dashboards, which is to minimize impact on students. Option D372 is clearly a better fit with the criteria described, as it would move fewer students and have fewer neighborhood moves overall. The ultimate goal of minimizing the impact on students makes D728 clear advantage here. D313 moves more kids and seemingly unnecessarily so. For example, it moves neighborhood 7, 10, and 11 out of Northside, only to move 2 other neighborhoods into Northside. Thank you so much for giving us the time to an opportunity to speak tonight.
Thank you. Gene,
pretty good.
Okay.
Again, thank you for giving everybody a chance to speak, and really appreciate the work of the redistricting board. So my name is Gene, I live at 4110 T So I'm in the North Lake neighborhood, so neighborhood 7, and I have a child that's going to be starting elementary school, hopefully at Northside. We'll see. So I'm here to support option D 3.72, and would like to address the board in reference to the transportation issues and neighborhood continuity between the two. The internal redistricting options being presented, so criteria 7 and 8 on the dashboard. So one of the biggest issues I would like to emphasize is the assumption that Sauk Trail is closer to neighborhood 7, 10, and 11 on the north side. It's probably not known to some members of the board who don't live near this area, but families from neighborhoods 7, 10, and 11, which is North Lakes, Bishop Bay, and Fox Bluff, do not travel on Century Avenue to get to north side. Family mostly travel left down Highway Q and then turn on Balzer and approach north side via High Road. I personally make this drive very frequently. It's a very easy commute during rush hour when you're driving in the opposite direction of traffic. This more common route includes only one stop sign. Alternatively, driving to Sauk Trail via Century Avenue entails 4 stoplights on an extremely busy, heavily traveled road, Century Avenue. The intersection of Century and Allen is a notorious spot for congestion, and inclement weather during rush hour traffic can easily take 20 minutes to clear. Or if there is inclement weather, the environmental impacts of this congestion should also be considered. Clearly, single distance does not accurately reflect ease of access to the school in this case. Furthermore, these neighborhoods are connected to Middleton Ridge, Middleton Hills, and Northside via the Conservancy pedestrian and bike pathways. The adjacent Conservancy is heavily used by residents of the neighborhoods. While children from neighborhoods 7, 10, and 11 can currently bike to school if they wanted, they would be unable to do so should they move to Sauk Trail, as it would involve dangerous and complex crossing of Allen Boulevard and Century Avenue. I'd like to remind the school board that children have been hit by cars crossing Century Avenue. So under option 3.1.3, neighborhood 16W moves to Northside. And again, while it's a walkable distance, these kids will have to cross Century twice a day. And with additional construction of houses in Middleton and along Century Avenue, that road will only become busier and more difficult to cross in the coming years. Neighborhoods 68 and 69 have to be bused to school either way, just by virtue of geography. Also, as related to criteria 7, contiguous attendance areas, I would like to again emphasize the relationship that children in neighborhoods 7, 10, and 11 have with children in Middleton Hills and Middleton Ridge and Orchid Heights. So also, I would also kind of say that you should also take family impact in mind. We're an established part of the Northside neighborhood. For example, my mother lives 5 minutes walking distance from Northside Elementary. If we switch schools, my daughter can't walk to grandma's house after school anymore. I'm not alone. There's actually multiple parents that have that problem between switching schools that are really close to Northside and can use the park to commute there versus a school that you would have to cross Century Avenue every day and it's no longer walkable. Again, thank you very much for letting us talk.
Thank you, sir. Village Schroeder. My colleagues, I didn't get it right. Close enough, Schroeder.
Really tall. Good evening, my name is Billy Schroeder, and I live at 4636 Signature Drive. I have a son in Northside presently, and a daughter that will be starting kindergarten next year. I moved to Middleton from Illinois last year. While in Illinois, I served 4 years on the school board, 2 years as the president of the board. So I'd like to thank the entire internal boundary committee for the countless hours they spent volunteering their time in such an important cause. And I would also like to thank this board for their good work and dedication to the kid of this district. We've heard from a lot of people tonight, passionate people, regarding 2 proposals that are before you. Having been in your situation myself, I don't envy you at all. The 2 proposals are both viable, but one stands out from the other when you look at criteria established by this board. Conceding the fact that both options cover the first criteria well, and in the interest of short allotting the time that I have, I will demonstrate how D3's 7.2 is superior to D3.1.3 in the most critical areas of your criteria. In the second category, D3.1.3 would significantly change diversity in 2 schools, in contrast to D3.7.2 only impacting 1 school. In the third category, D3.1.3 isolates neighborhoods that would not be affected under D3.7.2. Neighborhoods 68 and 69 are already isolated. They would simply move to a new school conceding the fact that they do have an additional 3-minute bus ride. D3.1.3 would eliminate the ability of the children in neighborhoods 7, 10, and 11 from riding their bikes to school. And it would further congest Century Avenue, as you guys have heard. In the fourth category, minimizing the impact on students, in my mind, is the most important criteria. Even as good stewards of this district, ultimately your decision tonight will upset one group or the other, right? Yet still this evening, while children in the district are getting ready to sleep, you are tasked with minimizing the impact of your decision makes on the families and entire neighborhoods. D3.7.3 clearly prevails in this category as it lowers the impact from 15 neighborhoods under D3.1.3 to only 13 neighborhoods under D3.7.2. It also lowers the overall attendance change from 19% under 3.1.3 down to 18% under 3.7.2. This gives you guys the ability to lessen the impact on a lot of families and students in this district under 3.7.2. I ask you guys tonight to do the right thing for the children in the district and try to minimize as much impact on the families and students that you guys represent. Thanks so much for your great work.
Thank you. And going to the leader.
I live in neighborhood 4, Middleton Hills on Ramsey Road. I have 2 children that go to Northside Elementary School. I'm speaking tonight in my capacity as the president of the Northside PTO, and on behalf of the Northside PTO board. Back there. I'm going to change tacks a little bit here. One issue that the district didn't explicitly outline as part of its 8 criteria, but which nevertheless was addressed on multiple occasions during committee discussions, was working to balance demographics to preserve PTO funding at Sauk Trail once the current Black Hawk neighborhood switches to Pool Farm. It seemed really important to the committee that this non-established criterion be considered, and the final 2 options both have ways to deal with this issue by moving either North Lake or L1 attendance areas. By achieving this so-called 9th criteria, does so at the expense of many of the other established criteria which were so thoroughly discussed earlier. And what gets me is that it's unnecessary. As a leader in our school's PTO, I suggest that there are other ways to mitigate the loss of PTO funds. We just need to be brave enough to discuss the larger issue, and that's having fair PTO funding across all the districts in our school. I encourage the board to discuss bringing together district PTOs to brainstorm how we might work together to bridge gaps in engagement and funding throughout our district, whether this is achieved by a central PTO treasury or by other means. Nationally, other districts are grappling with the issue of PTO funding fairness. I note in particular the PTA Equity Project of Evanston, Illinois. This project helps district residents broaden their lens and think not about their individual school, but about the district as a whole. And it enables PTO funds to be diverted to schools whose own fundraising efforts fall below the averages in that district. And that's just one guideline, or one roadmap for it. The Northside PTO supports option D372 for the reasons that were enumerated by the North Lake and Missions Bay residents who spoke. We think it best meets the stated dashboard criteria. But we don't want to lose neighbors in a misguided attempt to preserve funding at one school when really it's a much, much larger issue. The Northside PTO board is open to and interested in addressing issues of PTO fundamental fairness, and we think that's the direction the board should go on this issue, rather than use it as one of the deciding factors in this particular issue tonight. I mean, we teach our kids to share. The PTOs can share as well. So please keep that in mind when reaching your decision. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have a sheet from Matt Lexington, who doesn't want to speak. Right there, you want to speak?
I'll speak.
All right, thank you.
Good evening, my name is Matt Messenger. I'm a resident of High Point Estates, Area 69. And I'd just like to register my unequivocal support for the comments made by Amy Kavanaugh earlier. And that's all I'm going to say. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Danielle Mitchell.
Hey everyone. Thank you to each and every one of you for taking the time to listen to everyone tonight. I think we're all very grateful for that and appreciate you taking the time for that. So my name is Dan Mitchell and I am a resident in High Point Estates, which is neighborhood 69. My kids are all out of elementary school, they're all high school aged or older, but I represent the neighborhood as the president of the Homeowners Association. So, as throughout this whole process with the committee, I followed very closely, and obviously the committee has put in a great deal of work, and I've listened to a lot of concerned residents who have expressed concern about all the different options throughout the process, and obviously have concerns with D372. We're obviously in favor of D313. I'm not going to go through all of the data. I think Marcy Smith, Amy Kavanaugh, and others have represented that very well. What I want to remind you is that the committee has spent 9 to 10 months on this. They have done the due diligence on all of the options, and where we ended is with these two options and D313 being the top choice between these two options. So I think it's very important for the board to remember that when there is a decision made to trust the committee and all of their work that they have put into this over the 9 months. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the last sheet that I have here is from Andrea Knox. Correct? Andrew, that's on my phone.
No worries. So I'm Andrew Knox. I live in Area 68, High Point Estates. I have 2 kids who have now gone elementary school and another one who is on the way to do that. And I wanted to finish off again by thanking you all for the chance to have a voice in this process, to be part of this process. Thank you for the very thorough work that the boundary committee has done. We moved into the district about 2 years ago, so it's, we've been learning in real time what's going on, and we've just been impressed by what's going on here. As you said, we would be in favor of 3.13 as well. Our children have moved school districts twice in the last 2 years. Last time with the goal of being in High Point Estates. Transitions have been difficult. That's going to be true for anyone who attends school, who has to move from school to school. Our oldest has adjusted nicely. The bus ride has been difficult, but he's adjusted. Most of his friends are from the school, not from the neighborhood itself. So him being in the only neighborhoods that's moving into Saukville is difficult. Now I understand that's a concern for in different ways and different plans. But again, I thank you for your consideration. Thank you for the work that everyone's done. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. At this particular time, we are concluding the citizen feedback portion. For your information, we are discussing. Somebody else? Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. We are concluding the citizen feedback portion of this meeting. Today, the board will only be discussing options. No decision will be made today. That will be what will be made at the next board meeting. So at this point in time, each board member will get a chance to discuss their preferences and concerns, and we will not come to a decision until the next board meeting.
Throughout the process, there have also been many questions about grandfathering once the decisions are made, and also alternate school assignment process. Just to let you know, after the board makes its decision on these recommendations on December 16th, the administration will come forward in subsequent board meetings with our recommendations with respect to grandfathering of students, and then also an alternate school assignment process. So that information will be forthcoming.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the next phase of the board meeting. Approval of minutes, November 18th, 2019 regular minutes. Looking for a motion to approve minutes.
Done the second.
Questions or concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, communications. We have done the citizen feedback. Is there any citizen comments that do not have anything to do with the boundary committee? Okay. Correspondence, board communication.
I went to the holiday meal at Middleton-Cross last week, and it was the first time I've had the opportunity to go to one of those celebrations, and it was wonderful. It was a really nice way to bring the community together, and just wanted to extend my thanks.
Yes.
It's band concert week at the high school. Can you hear me?
Can we move the mics up too? Yeah.
Okay, there. Okay, one more time. It's band concert week at the high school. I know a lot of you in the audience have younger students, and it's a great way to keep them excited about music, to take them to see some of the older students playing. So there's 3 or 4 concerts this week. It's a great opportunity for all of you.
I did receive an email that I believe the entire board received. I will not speak to all of it, but I'll do a quick summarization from Elizabeth Kemp. And she had some concerns with the middle school decision, and that specifically concerning Elton Park. So I do encourage the rest of the board to came in late, get a chance to take a look at that before December 16th board meeting. Anything in the legislature? Okay. That's it. Superintendent.
I just have one quick reminder for board members to please let Cheryl Jansen know if you are interested in attending the Dane County Equity Consortium event designed for the school board members in our region. That'll be hosted here in our district at the DSC on the evening of December 18th. The event begins with dinner at 5:30 and the program will begin at 6. So if you'd like to attend, you can let Cheryl or I know and we'll get you registered. Thank you.
Cheryl, can we done? Okay, at this point in time, we move into consent agenda. I'll offer up for your approval 6A1, approval of bills payable, 6B1, approval of resignations, 3, approval of staff appointments, and 4, approval of retirements. Motion for approval.
Second.
Questions or concerns to the items we pulled? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. This is what everybody's waiting for. Items for information, discussion, boundary, attendance, area discussion. Lori.
Just making sure everybody can hear. So you heard from a number of people from the community that expressed their appreciation for the boundary committee, and I guess before we even get started in just presenting the boundary committee's recommendation, that we also want to echo their thoughts and that that committee worked tirelessly and spent a lot of hours. They had over 14 meetings and most of them attended both community forums. They reviewed more than 20 different elementary options, 5 middle school options. So the many hours they spent on really looking at this very complex, challenging process was very appreciated, and we appreciate their time. We also wanted to share just a little bit about the communication process and kind of maybe the general themes or the ways in which we heard from our community.
Thank you, Lori. So first of all, I recognize a lot of the names of folks who are here tonight, so thank you for taking the time to use our online feedback form. Board members, I'll remind you, we put that form up very early in the process, and feedback was shared with the members of the Internal Attendance Boundary Committee in advance of every meeting starting in June and running through the November 20th meeting. That feedback was also shared with you. In addition, we held 2 community forums for people to attend, one in Cromery, one in Glacier Creek in October. At that point, options had been narrowed down, but they hadn't come up with final options yet. And so I think we had a little over 100 people here. We had about 40 or 50 out at Glacier Creek. And that feedback, separate from the online stuff, was also shared with the committee and shared with you as well. In addition, at all of those meetings, I did a summary of the feedback, very much more high level since they were getting the individual email responses. But just to kind of go over different themes based on the various neighborhoods that were impacted, either on the options that are currently still being looked at or that were forwarded, or the ones previously that were looked at, the 20 plus that Lori mentioned in terms of what the community was thinking about those.
So all of you should have received in the packet, and then I also created a hard copy here for you. Of all of the options that they looked at, the committee is forwarding 2 elementary options for the board to consider, which you've heard from people tonight, D.3.1 and D3.7.2. In your packet, in front of you, you should have both a map and a dashboard. The dashboard actually takes the various 8 criteria and presents the data that the committee felt around each option about how it either met or did not meet the criteria. As well as a summary document, because looking at a map, you can figure out which neighborhoods are being impacted, but you have a summary sheet that actually identifies the neighbor that's being impacted and shows where the neighborhood currently goes to school and where it would be underneath the various options. We also have the same information for the 1 middle school option that was forwarded to the board from the committee. When the committee first started looking at the criteria and looking at what this process would entail, there was a clear understanding that while the board had 8 criteria, that it would be very difficult to find one option that would meet all criteria in its full. And so their process of reviewing and narrowing was an attempt to try to meet as many of the criteria as well as they could, knowing that one option would not necessarily meet them all. Also, just to kind of ease some concerns, because we've heard it from community members and at other public venues, concerns over funding and if there's an implication to funding as a result of one of the choices. Specifically over if the Title I funds or our AGR funds would be impacted if there's a change at Sock Trail. And the answer is no, there would not underneath the existing options. Title I, there is a calculation based on the poverty rate, but it's really based on numbers other than the free and reduced numbers at Sock Trail. It's based on information from the U.S. Census Bureau regarding poverty area. And so VW will still receive Title I funding. How it's distributed internally within the district, we use free or reduced numbers, but it would, the options that the board would be reviewing based on what was sent from the boundary committee would not impact the fact that there would still be Title I funding for Sock Trail. The other concern was over AGR funding. AGR funding we receive in order to reduce class size there's a number of neighborhoods that would be moving to Pope Farm. So 24, 25, 26 North, 26 South, 62, 63W, 63E, 64, and 65N would be going to Pope Farm. And one of the reasons why those particular neighborhoods were identified to go for Pope Farm significantly related to proximity. So that creates a contiguous area right around Pope Farm where the new Farm Elementary will be. In addition, 37E would move from Sunset Ridge to Northside, and next day. So those are the major changes to 3.1.3. When you look at your dashboard and we look at the various criteria, the committee quickly realized that trying to find options which would put every school under capacity through 2030 was near impossible. And also knowing that the longer you forecast out, the more gray those numbers become, because a lot of stuff can happen in 10 years. And so what we do is we tend to look at these numbers every single year to see if our forecast is staying the same or whether we're going to need to make adjustments. So knowing that 2030 was really far out and we couldn't find an option that would force all of them to stay within capacity, they focused on 2025, knowing that 5 years out is probably more, that the estimated numbers are closer to what we could really expect to have happen. And so in option D3.1.3 through 2025, all of the buildings are within the building capacity. Also, if we look at criteria 2, while the table that talks about the number of free and reduced English learners and English language learners and students of color are only one piece of this criteria, what we do notice is that the most significant change in free and reduced happens with Soft Trail goes from 41 to 34, and Northside actually increases from 11 to 19. So what we do find as we look at all of them, all three of those columns, is it does equalize out the in-school city schools in terms of their diversity and especially students of color. It kind of evens out more than the percentage numbers between all of those buildings. This option also helps to minimize change for students who we've identified as more marginalized students, except where the new school is much closer, specifically Pope Farm, because we're looking at a very contiguous neighborhood right now. Criteria 3, neighborhood community. It improves the attendance area for Pope Farm. If you're thinking about our current boundaries, the Pope Farm area actually has 4 attendance areas right in that area. And so with using the Blackhawk neighborhood in that area as all going to Pope Farm, it actually, from a whole district standpoint, helps making sure that we're keeping attendance areas as close as we can to your building. It's not perfect all the way around, but in that particular area, it does improve. I think you've heard from our community that there is still question about whether the North Lake area, the feelings of In terms of fiscal responsibility, it's very hard to determine how the criteria fall into this. And so when the committee looked at it, they really looked at it more from a transportation standpoint. So I did 5 together. 83% of the projected 2025 students would attend their closest school. And currently it's at 71%. So it increases that. The neighborhoods that are east of Polk Farm or elementary, we shift from busing to a walking zone. So that's a big gap. 16W and 37E will become closer to their new schools, but 37E will still be bused. In terms of the length of the bus ride, we would see that increase. 16W is closer to their school, but I think, as you heard from some of our community members, there's concerns about the walkability of that route. But in terms of busing, Northside would be closer than going to Elmont. In terms of elementary to middle feeder structure, we didn't really, in any one of the options that are being presented at the elementary level, the same middle school feeder structure would be possible. So not anything majorly able to provide that would distinguish this from another option. And then contiguous attendance areas, certainly establishes a contiguous area for the barn. It maintains park and sunset contiguous areas. And it maintains the degree of discontinuity for Stock Trail in Elmont and West Middleton, because they currently do not have a full contiguous option area. So again, it meets a lot of the criteria, as you heard from the boundary committee, just based on what's written on the dashboard, and then as well as the community comments. There are still some areas of concern when it comes to community and contiguous attendance areas. Anybody have any specific questions or anything that they want to ask regarding option 3.1.3? Then I'm going to come to D3.7.2, and you'll find that a lot of it is very similar. The same neighborhoods would move to Polk Farm, but instead of like North Lake 7, 10, and 11 moving to Stock Trail, those neighborhoods would stay at Northside, and instead we would see 68 and 69 moving to Stock Trail. Don's Mobile Manor, which is in 37E, would continue going from Sunset Ridge to Northside. And I think those are the only changes compared to what you looked at before. So very, very similar, except we're talking about the North Lake area versus the neighborhoods that are down in the High Point area being impacted by going to South Trail. I do one additional change, 16W, which is currently at Elm Lawn, instead of going to Northside, that also would stay in its current school, which is Elm Lawn. When you look at the dashboard, I would say there's, in terms of enrollment, it's very close. All schools, again, would stay within capacity through 2025 based on our current enrollment projections. When you look at the criteria and you look at the tables, you see a drop in freedom readings at Stock Trail. And in this instance, there's not a significant change in any of the other buildings, although you can see maybe a 1 or 2% increase in a lot of the other buildings, as opposed to in the first option where you saw a significant change at Northside. from 35% down to 22%. This also, similar to the first option, minimalizes change for our marginalized students. So while there's differences, not necessarily significant differences between the two options. Neighborhood community, very similar. The one thing that I would say that's different is that in the question about 68 and 69 not being contiguous, or the neighborhood community is not as apparent in this one because those two neighborhoods are already going to a different school. They go to Elmont versus the surrounding area going to West Middleton. But in this option, they would be going from Elmont to South Trail, going as minimizing the impact on students. There's a 1% difference from the previous option. In this option, 18% of the elementary students would change. And 74% of those would be Hope Farm. Only 13 neighborhoods change in this instance. 9 to Hope Farm, 2 to South Trail, 1 to Sunset Ridge, and 1 to Northside. So slightly smaller numbers in terms of impacted numbers of students and neighborhood adoption. In looking at transportation, 81% of the students would attend their closest school. Again, 71% is the current. The Hope Farm stays the same in the sense that a lot of those neighborhoods become walking areas. The difference here too would be that 68 and 69 would travel approximately a mile to their new school, further than where they go right now. Okay, those are the highlights, although you have the written documents here from the conversations from the community members about the criteria. Is there any specific questions about this particular option? Yes.
There was a comment that was mentioned about, and I didn't want to verify,
Use the mic, please.
there is additional transportation required with either option, or is there going to be need for some extra bus routes?
We had expected in the options that there would need to probably, anything in the option D series, we expected there to probably be more routes than there are right now, but not necessarily a significant difference between a D3.1.3 versus a D3.7.2. So we were thinking, 1 to 2 more routes we would probably need to this attendance area, but we would expect that regardless of the options.
So I have a question. There were some questions tonight about Don's Mobile Manor, and I don't know if you can provide a little bit more color of what the committee discussed with regard to that particular neighborhood. It's obviously not a large number, and I'm a little worried about disruption to that neighborhood when it switches schools. But,
which neighborhood are you talking about? 37E.
Yeah, 37E is the neighborhood.
So the question is 37E. One of the reasons why the committee looked at that area was from a transportation standpoint. We have had, that's been one of the areas that has had significantly long rides to Sunset Ridge, and then they also go to Glacier Creek for their middle school. And so there was a question in the audience about how we were able to or not able to get participation. We did attend, they had some ice cream socials and things that were out there that we made ourselves available to any parents. They were all that meeting was not during this fiscal year, but I can tell you more about the meeting because I was asked to be present, as well as our Director of Transportation was asked to be present, and it was at least one, if not 2 years ago, with a lot of concern for the students that were in that neighborhood over the time it takes to get from that neighborhood to Sunset Ridge and Glacier Creek. I would tell you that it's not necessarily, when you look at a map, you know, and you think about the students who live down in the Elbert Park neighborhood that go out to Glacier Creek versus the students at Don's Mobile Manor that go to either Sunset Ridge or Glacier Creek. When the students, there's a high enough volume of riders coming from our Elbert Park neighborhood that we're able to fill a bus, and they, for the most part, go direct out to Glacier Creek. So that ride is about 25 to 30 minutes for us to take the students there. It's a little bit different in the Don's Mobile Manor area because there's just not the volume of kids. So it's not like we're able to fill one bus and then take that whole bus straight there. There's a significant number of stops it takes to bring that bus to capacity. So what we're finding is that that bus ride can be 45 to 50 minutes. And so there had been a number of families that came in and met with us to say they were concerned about the travel time that it took for us to transport the students there. So one of the reasons that the committee looked at that was strictly because we would be able to fill a bus and maybe reach Don's Mobile Manor and bring them to Northside in a much quicker transportation path than we could going to Sunset Ridge or further. And then it would also put that attendance area in the recommended Cromery border, which also is a much shorter bus ride for those students than it would be to transport to Glacier Creek. So that was the primary consideration for why we were looking at having that area east of Highway 12 come to Northside and Cromery.
Similar to Todd's question, can you speak to area or neighborhood 39? Census is affecting what looks like 4 students. We had 2 parents. Question. 38 or 39?
So when the committee initially looked at the numbers, they originally had 38 and 39 both coming into Sunset Ridge. And the committee members that were here are absolutely right. Those are not areas that are projected to grow. What the committee was looking at is the fact that the neighborhoods that are really right next, either in Cross Plains or right next to Cross Plains, those are the areas that are expected to grow. And so they were looking at moving those neighborhoods into Sunset Ridge to be prepared for the long term, the growth that we're expecting to see in the Cross Plains area. They also agree with the community members that the growth has not come as quickly as we originally projected. And so one of the tweaks they made was to keep 39 at Park, but they recommended continuing to move 38 over to Sunset Ridge. I'm going to ask you, Gary, if you had anything to add.
In addition, Sean, they actually did it at their meeting. They were looking forward the options. Did look at having both remain in Park, but the problem wasn't clear over capacity. And so when they looked at that, by moving those 19 students back to Sunset Ridge, it kept Park under capacity going to 20 and 25. The other thing I think that the committee would say is that one of the struggles with moving enough students out of Sunset Ridge to Home Park is making sure we have enough students in Sunset Ridge, just like we're facing the Saw Trail, to make sure there aren't curriculum changes. So those are the things I would want.
Did you all hear Perry there? Did you need that to be repeated?
You can repeat it because it's too much echo for you.
Sure. You're talking about music pretty loud. That's what it is. All that coaching over the years, you must have his levels. 5 minutes away down there.
Hey, Harry, thank you.
So what I was saying was, when the committee was looking at the last three options and deciding what ones to forward, they actually asked the consultant to look at keeping 38 and 39 at Park. The problem was, though, with both of those neighborhoods at Park, it put Park over capacity. So they left one at Park and moved the other to Sunset Ridge in 2025. The other thing I would add, though, is that one of the things they grappled with throughout the process is that because we're moving students out of the Sunset Ridge attendance area to Polk Farm, just like we're moving students out of Sauk Trail to Polk Farm, is making sure that both Sunset Ridge and Sauk Trail numbers aren't so low that you have issues with curriculum because your class sizes, the amount of students there aren't big enough for what we need for class sizes and number of sections. Okay?
So I have another question, I guess. We're talking about the middle school option too tonight, right? So can you give us a little bit of color as we go around the decision with regard to neighborhoods 66, 67, 70, and recommendation and what the
So do you want me to kind of go through the middle school option in a little bit of detail first? What?
Can we finish the elementary ones first?
Yeah.
Because I still have questions about the elementary.
Yeah.
My question was going to be in regard to 37B. I did not attend. I don't think I'm really close to you, Anne. I didn't put it really close.
You pull it really close.
Okay, I'm really close now. Regarding 37E, I did not attend the meeting where the administrators were present to talk about their particular sites and the students that they're serving. And one of the things that I don't know if this happened or not, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to attend, but one thing that I always thought was great about Sunset Ridge and having Maria is that Maria is a Spanish speaker, and it was wonderful that she could be so welcoming to the Dance Mobile Village families. So I wanted to know if that was a consideration that was taken.
I don't remember the committee actually having specifically the conversation about Maria and her Spanish-speaking ability and the welcoming way she works with her students. I don't remember that being a specific discussion point, no.
Because it is a concern to me that we had residents from that area that didn't feel like they had feedback in the process, and maybe didn't know about the process, especially when we're talking about marginalized communities. I think that that's an area that I would like to consider because, there might have been some things that weren't taken into consideration, such as Maria's skills. But there may be other things that weren't considered given that those families might not have had the feedback that they wanted.
I wanted to ask the question, sort of procedurally, if there was a feeling among any of the board members that we wanted to consider moving one of these neighborhoods that we're discussing back before a vote happens, what would that look like? I'm a new board member. I haven't done anything like this before, so understanding the process is super helpful.
I'll speak to that. Right at this particular point in time, we are just in discussion only. So we would be looking at motions and changes at the December 16th meeting. So at that particular point, my suggestion would be that if you have a preference in terms of the two options for elementary or one option in middle, that those options be sent to administration for a reason for the change. At that particular point, then we would need a motion and a second to consider that option, but the board would work better with information in front of it at the time before the meeting versus being at the meeting itself, being asked to consider an option. Ask the board at this particular point in time if that's something they're comfortable with, or if there's another option that they would like to consider.
I'm sorry, Bob, what you're asking us what we obviously have two proposals that advanced to us. I mean, you know, if someone wants to propose a change, my concern is we're discussing them tonight. We're expected to vote at our next meeting, and I would feel bad if we didn't receive a proposal until the night we're supposed to vote on it, and then that would be noticed when people come and talk about it, discuss. I have a concern about that. That might mean pushing off the decision date. I know everyone wants to get started on this, so I'm a little concerned about that. At the same time, I really want to get it right. So, I mean, if a board member has a specific proposal, something that they have in their minds that they think might tweak this to the better, I think we should talk about it tonight. And even though we know we may not have, a dashboard and map that matches that, I'm real concerned about having another proposal to digest, give the members of the public have a chance to digest it and react to it too in the way that we're supposed to vote on it. So, I'm all for getting it right, but I also, there's been a ton of work put into these proposals. They've been, you can't thank the committee enough. I want to make sure we thank the committee and everybody before we get off this agenda. But, at the same time, Katie, if you have a specific proposal or something like that, let's hear it tonight so we can begin to think about it.
Yeah. Can I step in on this? I think there's a problem with us attempting to make a snap change to the proposals that are placed in front of us. Because any action that we changes everything in the matrix, which they worked hard on, considering all these factors. And if they change one element of it, we have to look at how it impacts all the other aspects that this hardworking boundary committee worked on for almost a year. So I would caution all of us to think very carefully about making a motion without having us consider all the elements that may not be apparent in a quick decision or quick request made up here tonight.
So what I would bring to the table is that at the last internal boundary committee, feedback was presented to the committee to suggest, sort of in echoance of what we've heard tonight, that the people who lived in 37E felt very strongly that they hadn't had an opportunity to give feedback in a way that was meaningful to them. And because the vote had already taken place by the committee, even though committee members asked if it could be considered at committee level to move Don's Noble Manor back to Sunset Ridge, it was not possible for it to be discussed any further because of the procedure that we had gone through. Because so many of the committee had shared that they would be willing to discuss it, but it wasn't possible, and because of the feedback we've heard tonight, I would like to see what it did to the dashboard to move 37 East back to Sunset Ridge.
And it's just a matter of order. I mean, I think we don't need a motion on any decision. If we want to see those numbers, we can. I mean, we can have those run, I think. I know it's a lot of work for...
Actually, we have someone here who can do that right now.
Okay.
Do you have the ability to...
Oh, yeah. Sure. I'll just go to the next here.
I've been taking notes as people have been talking, testing things as you guys have been discussing, so we can go into it. Sure.
In regards to For example, free reduced lunch percentage at North Side would go from 19%, 18.1.3 to 17% if we were to move down from the matter back to Sunset Ridge. Sunset Ridge would, free reduced lunch would be, which is at 7% and D3.1.3 would go to 9% should that switch back to Sunset Ridge. And that would be very similar in D2.7.2 because it's not affecting, it would be a similar change in that option. So that's the 37E switching back to Sunset Ridge.
I guess just to continue discussion on Don's Mobile Home, I heard two sides to this discussion. One was earlier discussion, there were concerns about transportation in terms of times. And that was one of the reasons why they had looked at moving to the city school in Sunset. Again, I have this particular one, I'm not forming an opinion on it. I just want to make sure that we're discussing this option. What I've heard from the community. So one, we have transportation time, which is called in the past, not in the current. And then what we also have is some individuals from the community saying that they would prefer to stay over that. Are there any other concerns that we need to know about in terms of moving down to the home? Is that it?
Other than what Ann.
Yeah. And I had two concerns basically about Don's Mobile Home. One was previous in the past, transportation time, to the current concerns that were brought up. Are there any other concerns you might have?
Well, I think that also, when you're talking about marginalized populations and having those students be able to stay at the school that they're currently attending, to staying with their peers or staying with, but they are within attending. I mean, I wouldn't hear any concerns to my voice about that long transportation ride, and it is a long transportation ride, but they've been doing it. And, you know, if I hear that's not our largest concern, that means something.
We haven't established a clear criteria how to go from the discussion phase where we're at now to proposal phase for something for us to vote on at the next meeting. So what we've done traditionally in the past is we've asked for a motion and a second vote on this. But at this particular point, we are in discussion phase only. We're not going to make the motions and voting. So but at the same point in time, we can do a vote saying, are we interested in this? I guess at this particular point in time, is the board comfortable with staying with the options we have or looking at alternative options different from what we did currently?
Mr. President, if we, if that's the only issue that we're discussing changing, we create an option D3.7.2 alpha to change the mobile home, and also propose a option D3.1.3 alpha, change that, and we'll have 4 options. The primary change being for next week, that one would be reestablishing that the children in 37E would then start going to Sunset as opposed to North Side. Would that be a possible solution?
Are there objections to that? Next question is, does the administration understand what the meeting is?
Yes.
Thank you.
Doubled our workload. Now we doubled our workload.
I have another question to ask you. In the numbers that go with 3.1.3, one of the things that did jump out at me was the numbers changed pretty substantially for North Side. And I just want to Okay. All right. Okay. So my question is, on the numbers that go with D3.1.3, the numbers that coincide with north side change most substantially in that dashboard. And my question is that something the school and the staff can handle? Or is prepared to handle? It just seems most significant out of anything we've looked at, and I just want to see if that's going to cause any repercussions.
Sure. You know, I think all of our schools certainly are equipped and resourced, and we have a lot of resources in our district where we can provide additional supports if necessary, so we're comfortable.
And again, on the north side, there is some projected growth for the north side area in the future, not quite as much since we lost the Allen Park. But there is some potential for growth in that area. There are some neighborhoods possibly slated. But this particular point in time, I'd be more concerned if we have curriculum, no issues with curriculum at the time.
So are there other questions on the elementary school, or I had the question on the school proposal, but I don't want to, we should finish up the elementary school discussion first.
Yeah, Elm that you also had some changes as well. Because the area of Elm is more static than our other schools. Does the administration have any concerns about those numbers at all? Because there are new growth areas in Elm, so we have seen some slight increases.
Can I ask a clarifying question, because I think I've got myself confused between what Annette was asking and what Bob was talking about. Annette, were you talking about the free and reduced lunch numbers or the capacity?
I'm talking about the numbers that go with criteria number 2. And just from a resource perspective, there's some pretty substantial changes in the numbers, and I just want to be sure that if there are additional resources that are needed as a result of that, that we have the capacity to support them. Thanks.
Before we move on to the middle school option, are there any further options that other board members want the board to consider at this time?
I mean, I would like, we've considered the moving back of 37 East, and I would like to afford that same opportunity to 38, being still a small number of students, and I do understand the concerns, but again, just understanding what the dashboard looks like and whether or not it's feasible, I think is important.
That's 19 students, correct?
It is 19 students, yeah.
Just to clarify, is that along with 37?
Yes.
I just have a clarifying question. If the board is wanting to look at both of those changes, do they want to see a map that has just 37E and a map that just does 38? Or do you want to see a map that does them in tandem? Because I just want to make sure that we're giving you what you want to look at. Tandem? Okay. Thank you.
Would that mean they don't be in consideration together?
You would need to separate out 38 as well from that.
So I think the answer is changing. They want to see one map that just keeps 37E with Sunset Ridge. One map that has 37E changing, but instead of S38 stay in Park. And then one that shows both changes. So 37E would be Sunset Ridge, and 38 would also be Sunset Ridge. Thank you, yes.
You have two masters, and then you have two possible alternatives to those two. On both, there's 8 options the board would be considering for both in their next meeting. If the board chooses to go that way.
At this particular point, if I understand what Bob is saying, we're going to have yes, no, position or change. Clearly, one place from Park to Sunset to Park. We actually have that. So we just need to move the change from Sunset back to Park. That would be one option, is that correct? Then the other option, if you already have it here, the other option would be moving down to Middleton Manor to Sunset. So you already have the option. The reality is we have two changes. Possibility of a third combined together. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay, at this time, are there any other options that the board would like administration to bring forward? No? We have one no?
No.
Yeah, the question.
Any other options on the elementary schools that the board would like the administration to bring forward to do? Hearing none, we'll go to the middle school option.
So my question regarding middle school had to do with neighborhood 66, 67, and 71. The proposal has.
Before you do that, we want to raise the thought about the middle school option.
Sure.
So the committee looked at 5 options, of which a couple of the options involve splitting 2 elementary schools at one time. So there was one that looked at splitting Sunset Ridge into Glacier and Cromley, and then splitting the West Middleton area into Glacier and Cromley. And then they looked at the Oak Farm option that they were looking at, they looked at a West Middleton option, and they looked at a Sunset Ridge option. So the committee, I'm just, the optional option they looked at really only involves potentially 2 neighborhoods switching from their current middle school. And that is 24. Right now, 24 goes to Glacier Ridge, but they moved to property. And then 37E, which is John's Mobile Manor. Right now, if based on the elementary options that were presented, they would move to Glacier Ridge to property. But based on this last discussion, we would be presenting an additional map for the middle school that would show them, like if they move back to Sunset Ridge, what the numbers would look like with them going back to property. So, or Glacier Creek, sorry. So that would be another map then that we would bring for middle school next time. The committee looked at those split options, and neither one of the split options made its way into the recommendation. And I would say that there were 2 primary reasons, and Terry might have more comments on that, but the two that come to my mind is that there were concerns for, actually right now, concerns that when you looked at splitting the two schools to move to another middle school, was that by the time you took, let's say, half of West Middleton, and then you broke that half that might now go Crombie instead of Glacier Creek, and you took that half and you broke it down into grade level, that the number of students that would actually be moving to that middle school would be a relatively low number. And so they really had concern about splitting two elementary schools where both of them had some of their numbers going to elementary school. So that was one concern that was voiced. The other concern was when they looked at the split areas, they felt that that increased the number of potential changes those particular neighborhoods would go. If we end up having a third middle school, that some of those neighborhoods would maybe change now, and then those same neighborhoods, not necessarily the same kids, but the same neighborhoods that would move again because of the addition of potentially a middle school at Lake Farm. So there was concern about that. And so then when they looked at a Lake Farm scenario, one of the things that they did like about that is that neighborhood, that although there would be neighborhoods that would be maybe changed to a potential third middle school again, they were all going to be neighborhoods that were, not all, but most likely neighborhoods that the change would be going to a middle school that was right in their neighborhood, as opposed to being somebody who's traveling quite a distance and having to make multiple changes. So those were kind of the big factors. And then if you look at the whole farm example, because one of the things that we said was, we don't know if there will be a third middle school. If our enrollment projections continue, it may be that our numbers aren't, but we would still have to do a referendum. There would still be all of the pieces that the district would need to go through and have to go for in order to make that school work. So that shouldn't be one of their highest considerations. So when they looked at this particular option, then the school, the boundaries that where students would be changing from their existing neighborhood, there'd only be potentially one neighborhood that is impacted, as opposed to impacting a lot of neighborhoods if you split other communities or other neighborhoods in elementary. So that was kind of the background of why they selected this option as the one to present. There is also a dashboard that was created for this one as well. You'll notice right away that when it comes to criteria 1, based on our current projections, we aren't even able to create a projection that shows we are within building capacity. Even next year, we are still most likely going to have property over, and by 2025, we see full over. So in any of the scenarios, we did it as an option that the building would stay within capacity through 2025. When we look at this option, there's not a significant change in any of the three groups, English learners or students of color in either middle school with this particular option. The neighborhood community, while 24 and 25 are somewhat an island in that area that attends Oak Farm Elementary, we do have two communities or neighborhoods that are right next to each other that we can work together. Potentially, depending upon what happens in 37 feet, it's one impact neighborhood. And from a district transportation efficiency, we pick up the most efficiency just based on the elementary change because of all the students going to Oak Farm. Plus, we wouldn't have so many more of the students going to one location versus it's just one bus that's going to be able to come in and hit those neighborhoods and able to go around with all the rest of the integration glacier creek. So, again, I think the biggest reason was the fact that it was one neighborhood being impacted. Is there anything that you wanted to add here?
Maybe the only other thing, Lorraine, this kind of makes a little bit not answering the question was on criteria number 2, when you look at moving some of the neighborhoods, it certainly changed the parameters numbers between glacier and what's so.
Did everybody hear that?
Yeah, but I just wanted to address that the board consider it. It looks like right now you have like a tree from that. If the board is looking at some larger changes from one school to another, we would need to consider moving another neighborhood, change that balance around. That doesn't have a problem.
If you intend to change one neighborhood, depending upon the amount of students that are in that neighborhood, we would need to look for a corresponding change.
Yeah, no, I think that my question was addressed. I should have waited for the explanation before I asked the question in the first place. So I'm happy with that. Thank you.
Okay. We're now in middle school. That is questions. Better. Questions or concerns on middle school options that you might want to see explored. This one's a little bit more difficult as we don't have extra capacity to work with like we do with other schools. So the changes and options become a little more difficult than we did. Yep.
So I have a question about neighborhood 24 and 25. Neighborhood 24, 25, that we are moving to considering to move. Okay, neighborhood 24, 25, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. So neighborhood 24 and 25, which we are, the community is, committee is considering to move to Cromwell. Instead, the Elmer Park area, I would recommend to move that because of the distance closer to that area. I think that's neighborhood 70. And leave 24, 25 at Glacier.
I think 25 already goes to Cromwell, isn't it? Yeah, that isn't being added.
Neighborhood 25 already goes to Cromwell. The only one that was changed was 24.
Only neighborhood 24 is being moved?
Right, 25 currently goes to Cromwell.
Okay.
So 24 would
So
be the
instead of
only
that-
neighborhood impacted.
Number 24 will be impacted, right?
Yes.
So instead of, my question is that instead of moving number 24, if we can leave that to Glacier and move the Elbow Park area because of the distance, as we had concerns of a few parents. That's
So if we looked at the numbers down in the Elbow Park neighborhood, there would be we would have a definite change in enrollment numbers because of the number of students in 24 as opposed to the number of students who are down in the Elbow Park neighborhood area. So that would just be something for the board to think about. The other thing is that if we were looking at, say, our free and reduced population, all of the different factors that are in that table, if we were to, say, take 24 and 25 and put them at Hope Farm and then bring the Elbow Park neighborhood up to Cromwell, I think we would see some pretty significant differences in our free and reduced populations and the other factors that are in that table in Cromrie alone, and then you would definitely see a much larger difference between what those numbers look like at Glacier Creek compared to what those numbers look like at Cromrie, even more so than you do now. Not to say that we can't provide that data, that's just a comment that those are things that the committee did look at before they elected to move this one forward.
Is it true too, if we were to make that change, that the students from Elm Park would then be going to a different middle school than their elementary colleagues?
Yes.
If we made that change, then the students at Elm Park would be going to a different middle school than their elementary colleagues. I'm just saying that's a factor. So they would be going to elementary school with students at West Middleton who then matriculate to Glacier Creek. So if we act on your suggestion, then students would go to Cromrie. It's just they'd be going to a different middle school for years.
Just one question, and I think that I already put the answer, but just to clarify, we'll look at this option and we'll also look at the option of changing 37 East.
Yes, yes.
So the question's been raised, and I did want to talk just a little bit more about that. The possibility of having a neighborhood group assigned to one elementary school, and then moving that group going, while the rest of the peers move to one middle school, another part would be moved to another middle school. Is that kind of what we're looking at? I don't have a problem with that, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I think that's it, and I understand what you guys are saying, but I don't see that as a huge difference because of the parents who have, come forward and told us that it's easier for them for the distance ones. Well, I think that the bus ride from Glacier is 45 minutes from that area, if I'm not wrong, as compared to Conway.
So what I first heard, was, I think, before you were talking, you were making the assumption that Elwood Park may be able to move to Hope Farm. But were you asking them that we would just only continue to leave it at West Middleton?
Yes.
But then
They're middle school to Conway. And I don't see that as a huge difference.
I also see a problem here. It's one thing to tweak 13 students, change the proposal, to change 13 students or 9 students, but I think when we're looking at hundreds of students, we're looking at least over 100 students, as Vince is thoughtful suggestion, I think we're at risk because we don't have the expertise on this board that the boundary committee developed over almost a year. And I think we're walking a dangerous ground when we start trying to come to different conclusions without all the database and the expertise. Especially when they thought about those kind of things when they worked very hard to come up with the proposals they did.
my apologies at this particular point in time, public comment. I understand. Typically, the board in the past, in all of its past meetings, has never started a discussion inside, from the board up to the outside. You actually would have information for us that would be useful, but at this particular point in time, you can't just allow one person, you have to allow every person to be able to allow speak to the board. Okay. So, back again.
I'm just asking how does it impact if we do this, because there are certain neighborhoods that is going to Glacier, like neighborhood 65 and 64, that also has 25 to 30 minute bus ride to Glacier.
Almost everyone has a 20 to 30 minute ride to Glacier. My kids had a 30-minute ride to Glacier. It's difficult unless you live in Cross Plains to ride to Oh, I'm sorry, I said that's not an unusual bus ride to Glacier. And even my kids rode the bus for 30 minutes. If you don't live in Cross Plains, the rides are pretty long for middle school roads.
Well,
Somebody's like a short cord here, so I can could we at least see on the dashboard what swapping 70 with 25 would do? We're not really considering it. Could we at least see that so we've got it in front of our eyes to see what it will do to projected enrollment? Conway versus Glacier Creek, and what it will do, what criteria too, and how it will affect those numbers.
Maybe 24, because 25 are realistic.
Oh, sorry.
The committee talked about elementary school for 9 months, middle school for 1 day. 1 day.
If I can, please advise, did have the rules that stated that you will, if we have one individual speaking, we have more than one individual speaking, it becomes difficult to run. So, as much as I appreciate the passion, the concerns that the public has, really can't go back and forth. It's not, you have an opportunity to speak during the first part of the meeting.
We can certainly pull together more maps. I just need to know what, if the board is wanting that to be done, and then specifically what it is you want to see.
Well, I don't know if we need a new map. I'm just looking at the dashboard here. I don't even know if we need a new dashboard. You can just tell us how, what would, without committing to considering anything different than the one option before us, is it possible to see how swapping those two out would affect the enrollment and, well, criteria 1 and 2?
I just want to make sure I've got the right neighborhoods. You want 24 to go from Promery back to Glacier Creek, and you want to see 70 go from Glacier Creek to Promery.
Yes, with the clarification that I don't want anyone to misperceive what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I want that. I just would like to see what happens.
I'm going to not play devil's advocate. I'm going to play through board president. I'm going to put the concern on the board president rather. If the boundary committee membership feels that they do not have adequate time to determine proper boundaries for the 2 middle schools, would it perhaps be to everyone's benefit to perhaps next week at our next board meeting determine the elementary school boundaries, perhaps recall the boundary committee to perhaps meet in the interim, so they, as a committee that's been trained, have at least one more evening to provide a better product for the board to consider, and at least get the elementary schools done at the next meeting, perhaps middle schools done at the following meeting.
I think the boards will make decisions. So at this particular point in time, I'll ask for a
yes or no to consider.
Motion?
Yes.
Motion, be appropriate?
It's not posted as an option.
Right, at this time. So then, at that point, if you want to go that route, then we have to do it after the next option, this is information discussion. But it would be interesting to hear if the board members could let the administration know in one way vote, not going to everybody else, or if it is something that they would like to consider, the administration has an opportunity to put it to not at the last minute ahead of time.
Well, would a motion be appropriate to ask that would 2 weeks be enough time for the administration?
Can't make a motion that isn't posted. If the item isn't listed on the agenda, you can't make an extra motion.
We can't hear you either.
Cheryl, we're not actually asking for it. And just, I'm going to address your question.
Robert's Rules of Order.
Right. We're not asking to make a motion at this time. What I'm asking the board to do is to send to administration in one way, if there was an interest in what Bob had proposed, so administration would have enough time to put that on the agenda with the right one.
You're still voting on something, you're asking everybody to give their opinion on something. Even though you're not making a motion and voting, you're asking everybody to give their opinion. And in that way, it's a vote.
Can we vote to table the middle school option at the next meeting?
So I have some data that you might I have some data that you might know, that you might find helpful in determining the course of action you want to go. So it's just data and you can interpret it how you want. So we had taken, the committee had taken the 5 options for the middle school and they did a ranking. And of the 5 options, 2 of the options, so the closer you were, the lower the number, the higher, the more success that option had in the community's eyes. Okay, so of the total group. So the West Middleton option, the Polk Farm and West Middleton option, the Sunset Ridge and West Middleton options, those 3 options scored a 3.0 or higher. Okay, so that was 3 of the options were 3 or higher. The Sunset Ridge option was 2.55, and the Polk Farm option scored a 1.86. So at that point, the committee looked at and said clearly that in their eyes, based on that ranking, those 3 options that were over 3, they felt were off the table from a majority of the committee. Then there was conversation about Sunset Ridge and Polk Farm, and they elected to move just 1 forward, and the one that scored a 1.86, which was the best that scored out of the 5. The board still can decide where they want to go with this, but I'm just giving you that data point so that you can see how the committee as a whole, when they did their ranking, how those ranked out. That was the majority.
Is the board interested in hearing the second option that the did not move forward to the board?
The second option, just so you know, Bob, was not related to the neighborhoods that are in question. The one that scored second highest was if Sunset Ridge area was split. So the ones that involved the West Middleton area scored down in the 3s in terms of what the committee felt when they were forwarding things and ranking.
Can I ask a question? In any of the options, were there, in any of the options, were all schools always going to the same middle school? Or were there always split schools?
There were only, of the 5 options, there were 2 options that had 2 elementaries impacted. So the 2 that had the 2 elementaries impacted is they looked at splitting Polk Farm and West Middleton. And then they also looked at an option that split Sunset Ridge and West Middleton. And those two of the ranking had the worst score.
Well, it seems with regards to the elementary schools, we asked for some additional information, and some board members are interested in some additional information for the middle school option. I think we should get that information. Doesn't mean that that's the direction any particular one of them necessarily will go, but if we're getting additional information for an elementary, we should get that. The information that Lindsay suggested for the middle school, I know it's a lot more work, it's not what we had in mind for processing, but I just think that's where we're at. Information, maybe we'll look at it, we'll say, there's a reason we didn't advance this because it doesn't, it's definitely going to increase capacity or increase the enrollment at the property more. Shouldn't hurt that was the number one criteria. It's going to cause those neighborhoods to look different than the school and the classmates. That's the criteria. So there are reasons that it may not be the one that's ultimately advanced, but I guess if we're willing to see other information regarding elementary education, Bobby looking at me looking crazy. I'm sorry, the other Bob. He's the one who's looking at me looking crazy. No.
I think we help the district out in their planning for next year. If we could come to a resolution at our next meeting regarding the elementary school. But I think enough down at my end. I know it's hard to hear down there. But down at our end, I think the members on the board at this end would like more information and perhaps more discussion on the middle school issues at the next meeting.
Yeah, so it sounds like we want some more information, and maybe there'll be a motion next time to table for an actual vote on the middle school, but we're not there yet. We want to see.
So before we move further, let's make sure that administration understands what the board is looking for.
I believe we understand. And so as part of the item on the 16th, we will include in that the dashboard that would coincide with the new neighborhoods 24 and 70. And we'll have that information, and then that will lead you, help you decide a course forward. Okay.
We're now still on the middle school portion of this discussion. Are there any other options, concerns that we're moving forward? Nope. Okay. I know you'll find this hard to believe, but I was anticipating a much more difficult discussion than what we had this time. And the public as well. To get into the point where we actually have something tangible to work with. So thank you to everybody on that. At this point in time,
Can I jump on that? Please. And just add to that, I just want to thank everybody who came today. Great work by the committee. Thanks to the committee members who are here. Really appreciate the work. From Crawford to Perry and you are facilitating. Thank you to those people. And thanks to everybody who provided the process was undoubtedly better. Everybody's emails, the feedback that we got via the website, the conversation tonight went a long way, making this a better way for discussion. So thanks to everybody. We've got really engaged families in the school district. It's a place that people want to move and send their kids to the schools here. That's why we have this issue. It's because we have such an open growth in your schools, and you got to redraw the boundaries. So just thanks to everybody for all the input. The last thing I want to say is one of the great luxuries that we have in the school district is nobody's going to a bad school. We talk about transportation issues, we talk about walking, we talk about traffic and things like that. But we've not heard anybody say, I don't want my kids going to that school. That's reflects true that we got great schools here. And that's a luxury that not all districts have. So I think that's one thing that we should be positive. So thanks. I just wanted to say thanks to everyone who's here. Thank you for all the input.
again, that's it. We do appreciate all our intent. We still have time to look at, so the process isn't finished yet. But again, thank you for your, people aren't here to express it. Move on to the
Is the online feedback still open, just as a question, or is that done now?
Yeah, we think it's closed because we've offered multiple options at this point.
It's still up.
Yeah, so an email still works, so.
I'm sorry, what is feedback on the online submission form that you received for before it was approved and read in advance of the meeting on the 16th? 11. Thank you.
APL enrollment projection updates.
Sorry, I'm still you've got things ready. So this is a report that normally would be given by Sherry. So I'm going to be giving a very abbreviated, knowing that we're going to be coming more back with more enrollment forecast information for you in the future. But we did receive our ACL report. As you remember, annually we send our September 3rd Friday numbers to the Applied Population Lab for them to do a forecast for us. And so we've just received that report back, and we've been doing some preliminary looking at what those numbers are. We've just noticed a couple of things, which is we usually get a baseline, which takes a look at our enrollment from the past, the last 10 years, in terms of providing a direction of where we're going. They give us a 5-year, which means they look at the last 5 years, and then they look at a model that looks at the last 2 years. So the baseline tends to be the lowest growth numbers when we look at our 10-year history. When we look at our 5-year history, traditionally that's been kind of more than our baseline, and typically our 2-year has been really high because we've had such enrollment growth in the last few years where it's triple digits. But we noticed this time our 2-year trend is a little bit lower than our 5-year trend, and I think that's just because we saw that dip this year. So we have not at this time been able to compare the numbers yet to the Rocker's numbers, just so we can see how our long-range projection is matching up with what the short-range APL projections are showing. And we have not yet determined what we're going to be making for a recommendation as it comes to a budget assumption for 2021 for our enrollment growth. But Sherry and I will be looking at those numbers between now and the end of December and coming up with what we think would be an appropriate enrollment assumption that we'll use in the budget forecast. So I guess just stay tuned as we continue to work with these numbers, but we wanted to show them to you so that you would have access to them.
Anybody have any questions? Thank you. WSB Education Convention attendees. We held during the January 22nd and 24th in Milwaukee. There's a link to that. 7 of the 9 board members have been here in the past. The individuals not had the opportunity to attend in the past. So reps certainly have any questions concerning WSB. No? Okay. At this time, we're looking to see who is interested in attending. So is there a board member?
Do you want to explain what we've done in the past?
Generally, we go to McDonald's, have a burger or fries, and discuss what's going on. Generally, we're trying to find something close by. Depending on how cold it is, we'll determine how far we're going to walk.
And it's okay, I mean, it's sort of fun, you know, we don't talk school, you know, not only with that, you know, but we don't talk school, it's only fun and social, and usually there, and some people who would like to
meetings afterwards, you can do that. And we've had to do that bowling, we don't have to do that again. But it's fun. Yeah, I'll just tell you what I do. I have a bunch of programs I want to go to, and I go to the stoves, and so I cannot go on one of the unfinished. That's immediately interesting. I just think it's a real nice stuff having outside of these meetings that you can get to know each other at all. So I think it's fun. I'm happy that's already.
One of the things that I found in the past is that you get a chance to speak with other board members, get an idea of how they work in board, things that work with them. But the classes are very good opportunity. But at this particular time, they're looking to see who's interested in this.
We're not sure yet.
Well, we need to get a hotel, so we'll just say possibly yes.
Who's not going?
Raise your hands. Oh, yeah.
We can have a lot of this.
Yeah. Percy and I will be doing a presentation. Also, we don't have it listed on here, but we will need a delegate for the assembly. School district. I will be there. That's a presentation that I'll volunteer to do. Somebody else like that. Okay, Susan.
I move the thought free be our delegate.
All those in favor say aye. So any further questions? Cheryl, we have the list. Everybody will be attending.
Why are we moving on it?
We're just moving. No, we're voting for the delegate, not for who.
We don't have it on here to vote for a delegate.
Everyone is
Declaration of board candidacy. We have 3 openings at this particular time. Myself, Paul King. I myself are planning on running it.
I plan to run again.
I am planning on running again.
Okay. At this particular point in time, we have no further items, action items. Our next meeting is here again. 5:30 for agenda setting, 6 o'clock for finance, and 7 o'clock. We're going to be public comment again. I think we'll be honest.
I don't know.
I don't see any reason not to.
That.
I think that's a good idea.
What with, sir?
With the awful acoustics up here on the stage, we have the 2 committee meetings in a different room here at Congress.
What was the suggestion? Have agenda finance at different locations.
I was saying, it is too far to hear.
Well, that would, then, are we looking at? Yeah.
They have room.
That was actually, we'll start time at 6:30.
Can I ask just one quick question?
Yes.
I know all the different answers for the for elementary, and that's not, do you want, I made hard copies tonight in addition to what you have on your computer screen. Do you need me to make hard copies of everything, or are you?
Yeah, hard copies.
Yeah.
Hard copies.
Well, I can make, if it's only a couple people want hard copies, I'll
But
make
just
them.
of the new ones, I won't make hard copies of these.
Right, I'll do one.
Okay, I will make hard copies of the new one, and I'm going to expect the board to bring the copies from today on the other one.
I'll be responsible.
Thank you.
Looking for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.